Welcome to Infidelity Love, where passion meets forbidden desires. Love isn't always black and white. Sometimes it lives in the shadows of temptation. Welcome to Infidelity Love, the ultimate channel for gripping romance, deep emotions, and untold stories of love, betrayal, and passion. From forbidden affairs to heart-wrenching choices, we bring you addictive, emotional, and suspenseful love stories that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Subscribe now and step into a world where love isn't always perfect, but it's always unforgettable.
There was a man named Colby, and he had a wife named Melinda. They lived in a big house with red doors and white windows. Colby worked in a tall office building, and every day, he wore a blue suit and a red tie. Everyone thought Colby had a perfect life, but deep inside, Colby felt something strange. His heart didn't smile anymore. Melinda, his wife, liked clean floors, quiet rooms, and talking about money and bills. She didn't like hugs or stories. She didn't laugh at Colby's silly jokes, and she never asked him how his day was. Colby tried to be happy. He smiled, even when he felt like crying. He told himself, "This is life. I must be strong." One rainy Thursday, Colby forgot his umbrella. He ran into a small coffee shop to hide from the rain. The bell over the door went ding-ding. That's when he saw her. She was sitting by the window, reading a book with a purple cover. Her name was Juniper. She had curly brown hair, freckles on her nose, and the brightest smile Colby had ever seen. She looked up and said, "You're all wet. Sit here. I have tissues." Colby laughed, really laughed, for the first time in a long time. "Thank you," he said, sitting down. They talked for 2 hours. Juniper liked clouds, old songs, and dancing in the rain. She loved to laugh and listen. When she talked, Colby felt like the world stopped spinning. Colby didn't tell her he was married. He didn't want to ruin the magic. "Will you come tomorrow?" Juniper asked. Colby paused. Yes. He went home to Melinda that night, but his heart stayed at the coffee shop. The next day, Colby wore his favorite blue shirt and went back to the shop. Juniper was there, waiting, with 2 hot chocolates and a smile. Days turned into weeks. Every time Colby saw Juniper, he felt alive. They never kissed, never touched, but their hearts held hands. Colby told her about his dreams, his childhood, and the time he got lost in the woods as a boy. Juniper listened like each word was gold. But one day, Juniper asked, "Are you married, Colby?" Colby froze. His hands shook. "Yes," he whispered. Juniper didn't say anything for a long time. Then she stood up, looked at him with sad eyes, and walked out into the rain. Colby's heart cracked. He didn't go home. He sat there, staring at the empty chair. The next day, he came back. Juniper didn't. He came the day after, and the next. No Juniper. He left notes with the barista. "Please give this to the girl with the purple book." Still, nothing. One morning, Colby walked into the coffee shop, and froze. Juniper was there, but she wasn't alone. A tall man with golden hair held her hand. Juniper looked up, and saw Colby. Their eyes locked. Everything stopped. Colby stood by the door, holding his breath. The rain had followed him in again, dripping from his coat. Juniper was smiling at the man next to her, but when she saw Colby, her smile faded, just a little. Not enough for the golden-haired man to notice. But Colby noticed. Her eyes looked like they were hiding a secret. She stood up slowly. "Hi, Colby," she said, softly. Colby couldn't speak. His tongue felt tied. He looked at the man beside her. The man smiled and said, "I'm Briggs, Juniper's friend. And you are?" Colby blinked. "Friend? I'm Colby," he said. "Nice to meet you." Juniper looked down at her hands. Her fingers twisted the edge of her sleeve. Colby wanted to shout. He wanted to say, "No, she's not yours. She's mine. We talk about clouds and dancing in the rain. She makes my heart remember how to beat." But he said nothing. Briggs shook his hand, firm and strong. "You here for coffee?" Colby nodded slowly. "Sit with us," Briggs said kindly. Colby wanted to run away, but he didn't. He sat across from them and smiled a fake smile. They talked. Or mostly, Briggs talked. He shared stories about his dog named Pickles and how he wanted to open a guitar shop. Juniper smiled at him, but her eyes kept sneaking over to Colby, quiet, hurting, trying not to drown in his own heart. After 20 minutes, Briggs' phone rang. "Excuse me," he said. "I need to take this. Be right back." As soon as he left, silence filled the table like fog. Juniper looked at Colby. "I didn't think I'd see you again," she said. "I came every day," he whispered. "You didn't come back." I couldn't, she said. You're married. Colby looked down. I know. I'm trying to forget you, she said, her voice shaking. But I can't. I still think about you every night. I wake up dreaming of your voice. Colby looked at her eyes. Wet, shining, soft. I wish I met you before I married my wife, he said quietly. Juniper closed her eyes, her lips trembling. Then Briggs came back. Everything okay? Juniper smiled, this time, a fake one. Yes, everything's fine. Colby stood up. I should go. He walked out into the rain again, but this time it felt cold. He walked for hours, his shoes wet, his heart heavy. That night, Melinda asked, where were you? Work, Colby said. She nodded, not even looking up from her laptop. Don't forget the trash. And you left your socks in the hallway again. Colby picked up his socks, but in his head, he wasn't home. He was in that little coffee shop, looking at Juniper. That night, he sat on the porch and called her. She answered. I miss you, he said. She didn't speak, but he could hear her breathing. Can we meet? He asked. Just once more, please. Juniper was quiet. Then she whispered, tomorrow, at the bridge, where the water moved fast and the world felt still. Colby didn't sleep that night. He was about to do something that could change everything, and he didn't know if he was ready. The next morning, Colby wore the gray coat Juniper once said made him look like a movie star. He brushed his hair twice, even though it still looked messy. His hands were cold. His heart was loud. The sky was full of clouds, but it didn't rain. Not yet. Colby walked slowly to the old bridge by Willow Creek. The water under the bridge moved fast, making soft splashing sounds. The trees whispered like they were talking about secrets. Then he saw her. Juniper stood at the middle of the bridge, wearing a yellow jacket and a sad smile. Her hair blew in the wind. Her hands were inside her pockets, like she was holding herself together. Colby walked to her, step by step, like each step mattered more than the last. You came, he said. I almost didn't, Juniper said, but my heart said yes. Colby looked into her eyes. Do you love him? Briggs? Juniper looked at the water. He's kind, funny, good, but he's not, you. Colby's breath caught. Then come with me. Juniper blinked. Where? Anywhere. Away. Somewhere no one knows us. We'll start fresh. Just you and me. Juniper stepped back. But you're still married. Colby closed his eyes. I know, but every night I lie beside a woman who doesn't see me, and I wake up thinking about you. I try to forget. I can't. You're inside me now, Juniper. In my bones. Juniper's lips quivered. This is wrong. This is not how love is supposed to be. But it is love, Colby said. It's the truest thing I've ever felt. Suddenly, they heard footsteps. Juniper turned fast. Briggs stood at the end of the bridge. He had heard everything. Juniper, he said, voice low. What is this? Juniper's mouth opened, but no words came out. Juniper looked at him. What's she talking about? Melinda crossed her arms. You didn't tell her, did you? Juniper's voice cracked. Tell me what? Colby opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Melinda stepped forward. He told me he wanted a baby, that he wanted to try again, that he wanted to fix our marriage. Juniper blinked fast. Is that true? Colby looked at her, broken. It was before I met you, before I felt this way. Melinda's eyes filled with tears. You lied to me, you lied to her, and you lied to yourself. Juniper turned away, her hands shaking. I didn't plan any of this, Colby said. I swear. Melinda laughed again. You planned enough. Secret phones, coffee shop meetings, telling her things you should have told your wife. Then she threw the phone into the river. It splashed and disappeared. I'm done, she said. And with that, Melinda turned and walked away. Her steps were slow, but she never looked back. Juniper stood still, her eyes wet, her voice barely a whisper. Is it true? Did you really ask your wife to have a baby? Colby's lips trembled. Yes, but I thought maybe a baby could fix what was broken. I didn't know I was broken too. Juniper closed her eyes. I don't know what hurts more, the fact that you're married, or the fact that you're still lying. I'm not lying now, Colby said. You're the only truth I have left. Juniper shook her head. Then why does it feel like I'm standing in a dream that's turning into a nightmare? Thunder rumbled in the distance. The sky grew darker. Colby reached for her hand, but Juniper stepped back. I need to think, she said. Then she ran, down the bridge, past the trees, into the storm. Colby stood there alone. The rain began to fall, and just when he thought things couldn't get worse, his phone buzzed. A message from Melinda's sister. You need to come home. Something happened. Colby's heart dropped as he stared at the message. You need to come home. Something happened. The words blinked on the screen like sirens. His hands were cold. The rain had soaked through his coat, but he didn't move. He read the message again and again. Something happened. But what? He grabbed his keys and ran through the rain. His shoes slapped the wet ground. His breath came fast. His thoughts came faster. Did Melinda do something to herself? Did she leave? Did she tell her family everything? Was it over? Really over? The sky roared with thunder as Colby pulled into the driveway. The house stood there, still and quiet. The windows were dark. He walked inside. Melinda's sister, Heather, stood in the hallway. Her eyes were red. "She's upstairs," Heather said. "Be gentle." Colby ran up the steps, 2 at a time. His heart was knocking so loud it felt like it would break through his chest. The bedroom door was open. Melinda sat on the edge of the bed, her hands covering her face. Her wedding ring was on the nightstand. There was a letter beside it, a letter with Colby's name on it. He stepped into the room slowly. "Melinda," she looked up. Her eyes were puffy, her face pale. She wasn't angry anymore, just tired, deep tired, the kind that comes from loving too long without being loved back. "I almost left," she said softly. "I packed a bag. I drove around the block. Then I came back." Colby nodded, not knowing what to say. "I didn't stay because of you," she said. "I stayed because I realized I don't need to run. You already did." He sat on the edge of the bed, but not too close. Melinda stared at the floor. Was she worth it? Colby swallowed hard. "I don't know. It wasn't about worth. I didn't mean for it to happen. But it did," she whispered. "And now I have to live with that." Colby glanced at the letter. "What's that?" She pushed it toward him. He picked it up, opened it. His name was written in her soft handwriting. The letter said.
The guest room door creaked open slowly. Colby stood frozen, eyes wide, heart thudding in his chest like a drum in the dark. And standing there was his mother. She looked older than he remembered. Her grey hair was pulled back. Her eyes were sharp but kind. She held a small bag in one hand and a blanket in the other. "Hi, Colby," she said gently. He blinked. "Mom." "What? What are you doing here?" She stepped inside the hallway and sat on the edge of the guest bed. "Heather called me. Said you might need someone." Colby sat across from her, still in shock. His mother looked around the room. "This house is quiet," she said, "but not the good kind of quiet." Colby didn't answer. She looked at him. "You want to tell me what happened?" He sighed deeply. "I fell in love with someone else, while still married." His mother nodded slowly. "I figured. Your eyes. They look like your father's did the day he left." Colby looked down. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "I know," she said. "Most people don't, but feelings grow where they're watered, and sometimes we water the wrong garden." Colby swallowed hard. "I thought I was doing everything right. I worked. I stayed faithful. Well, until recently. But I was lonely. Melinda didn't see me anymore." His mother touched his hand gently. "Marriage isn't always fireworks and kisses. It's work. It's showing up even when the love feels quiet. Sometimes love is in folding laundry together or remembering to ask how her day was." Colby looked at the floor. "I think I failed." "No," she said. "You got lost. There's a difference. But now you've got a choice." He nodded slowly. "What if it's too late to fix anything?" She smiled sadly. "Then you start with yourself. You fix what broke inside you. You forgive yourself. And maybe, just maybe, the rest will follow." That night, Colby didn't text Juniper back. He didn't run after Melinda. He just sat with himself. For the first time in a long time, he faced the man in the mirror. And he didn't look away. 2 months later, Colby moved into a small apartment above a bookstore. He started writing again. He went to therapy. He called Melinda and told her he understood why she left. He never blamed her again. Juniper moved to another city. She opened her own art studio. She sent Colby one message. "Thank you for showing me my heart still worked. I hope you heal." "I'm trying to." They never saw each other again. But sometimes Colby walked by the old coffee shop. He smiled at the window seat where everything started. And then he kept walking. Because the past is a chapter, not a home. Love is not just about feeling seen. It's about choosing to see each other, even when the lights dim. Infidelity doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in silence, in forgotten hugs, in words left unsaid. The heart can wander when the soul is tired, but true healing begins when we stop chasing escape and start facing the truth inside us. Sometimes the greatest love story is not about finding someone new, but rediscovering yourself. Thank you for watching. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching and supporting my videos. Your time, your comments, and your love mean everything. Every view, like, and share keeps this channel alive, and I couldn't do it without you. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps bring even more passionate, emotional, and unforgettable love stories to life. Stay tuned for more drama, romance, and unexpected twists. Until next time, keep loving, keep feeling, and keep watching. Much love, Infidelity, love.